Hi, my name is Cindy and I've decided to create this video to hopefully raise some awareness on an issue that's happening at one of our local veteran cemeteries. To give you some history, I lost my uncle in the summer of 2009. After his death, our family realized that not every veteran receives the flags on their markers during Veterans Day and Memorial Day. Not willing to stand back and take that for an answer, our family got together and we purchased 5,000 flags. No, it was not going to cover all 30 to 40,000 soldiers in the cemetery, but at least it was going to make a dent and hopefully take some steps in the correct direction. After his death, we decorated his section and the surrounding sections for Veterans Day 2009, Memorial Day 2010, and we just showed up this past weekend to do Veterans Day for 2010 in preparation for Thursday's ceremony. Once we had 14 volunteers show up, and these volunteers drove from the beach, an hour away, Palmdale, hour and 20 minutes away, Victorville, an hour away, and the Inland Empire. Once we arrived there, we were told that we could go ahead and place all 5,000 flags, but that they would be ripped up on Wednesdays so that the cemetery could mow. Not happy with this response, I made my way up to the front office where a gal had told me that it's written on this piece of paper. She handed me a piece of paper that says during holiday weeks they will modify the schedule. I said, so that means our flags will stay in place because we have a holiday this week. She says, correct. I said, there's no way that that's wrong. She goes, it's right there in writing. I said, okay. I said, were you happen to be the same girl that I spoke to 2 weeks ago telling me I could place my flags 5 days ahead of time and pick them up 5 days later? She says, no, it wasn't me, but that would be fine. Someone overheard our conversation and they came out and they said, no, the schedule had been modified. However, rather than mowing in your section on Thursday, we're going to mow on Wednesday. Thinking that was a little strange, I said, well, if you're going to modify the schedule, modify it to Friday. Don't do it the day before so that our veterans can have their flags. And they said, sorry, that's the way that it has to be. And I said, well, we want to put our flags somewhere, so take me to a section that's already been mowed. That way our flags can be left alone. I returned out to find our 14. We loaded into cars. We followed the supervisor of the groundskeepers over to sections 5 and 7. He stopped and there was a man that was up on a hill mowing the lawn. And he says, when he is done mowing, you can place your flags. He says, this area, that area. We said, fine. 14 of us stood there and watched this lawnmower go back and forth, back and forth. The man got done with the hill. I went over and I said, are you done? And he says, yeah, but you need to wait for the large lawnmower to come through in the flats. Fine. All 14 of us stood there another 10-15 minutes and watched this large lawnmower come through, go back and forth. It was a small area, so he did it in about 3 or 4 swipes and he was done. We got the go-ahead. We placed our 5,000 flags. Literally the moment that we put the last flag into the ground, the supervisor showed back up and said, you have to remove all of those flags off of that hill and in that flat area. It hasn't been mowed. I said, when you brought us here, they were mowing it. You saw it being mowed. I have pictures of it being mowed. We got the okay. We could go ahead and do it. And he said, no ma'am, it has not been done. And I said, 14 of us stood here and watched it. He said, thank you. Got in his truck and drove away. Basically, I had been dismissed. Starting to get a little bit sickening of a feeling. I had a feeling that our flags would be gone the next day. I showed up there this morning, November 8th, 2010. Approximately 1,500 of our flags had been pulled up out of the ground on the hill and in that flat area that he said had not been mowed. I made my way up to the front office and I met with the director. I also met with the assistant director. I let them know, hey, there are several things that happened yesterday. I need to get answers on these. You guys told me I could come in 5 days early and pick them up 5 days later. I arranged for crews. We purchased our own flags. We came here, and now every flag in every section is going to be ripped up no later than Wednesday so that you can mow. Mow another day. And they said, unfortunately, they can't because they can't get behind. I said, okay. Well, then mow it a little bit shorter, starting earlier, knowing it would be the perfect length by the time the holiday came around. They said they can't do that because then by the time it grows so long, the grass is so hard on the blades on their lawnmower, it starts breaking and then it starts ripping the grass. So I said, okay, so basically our veterans can't have flags because of your equipment? There was pretty much no answer to that. I said, okay, so basically let's just call it what it is. This is a business. And she says, well, we bury the veterans. We give them a marker. We give them a proper burial. We give them a flag at their funeral. And then they all share the one flag in the front of the park, and that's all that we can do. But the public demands that we keep our grounds in pristine condition. Really, you want to play the pristine condition? I said, have you ever walked through Section 5? I said, I have photographs of probably a dozen broken markers. I have pictures of some photographs that are so far under dirt that it's been under there so long, the dirt, it's almost like a clay. It feels like cement. We tried to chip it off of there because as we place our flags, we also say the name of the soldier that we're giving it to. Some of those people, we weren't able to say their name because we couldn't even see what their name was. Some of them had been snapped off and the entire marker was broken. It was just a slab of concrete with a couple of bolts. It was unbelievable. So you want to play the pristine card? On my uncle's grave, I had to get on my hands and knees and pull out weeds in order to see his. So I ask you, I'm a family member of a veteran who's there. Ask me, why don't you ask me if I would rather have grass or a flag? I can tell you, I would much rather have a flag on my uncle's grave any day than perfect grass. But did you ask me? No. And why? Because you're running a business. And I understand that. I can understand that. Everyone has to make their buck. But you are also working in a veteran cemetery. Those people gave their lives for us. Where is the honor? Keeping a flag for one day, that's just ridiculous. It's when you send flowers to someone. You don't send it so that they can enjoy it one day and then they throw them in the trash. They like to enjoy them a few days, perhaps take them to work with them or bring them back home, whatever the case may be. But because of business, we've got to rip these flags up and they can't have them for the holiday. So I've been in contact with Channel 2 News. I've been in contact with Channel 7 News. I'm hoping to meet with them tomorrow. I've contacted the Sun newspaper in San Bernardino, the Daily Bulletin, the Press Enterprise. Unfortunately, we've had an officer in Riverside, also a veteran of Iraq, be killed last night in an ungodly shooting. If he's going to be placed at Riverside Memorial Cemetery, I hope he gets a flag. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you would like to support us or be heard or anything, please visit our website at www.flaghonors.com. We also have a group page on Facebook, Flag Honors. With your support, maybe we can get a policy changed where the veterans can have their flags a few days longer. Maybe, who knows, maybe every veteran could get the flag that they so deserve. It's one little thing, but it's about honor. I mean, they did die for us. Thank you.